It says you're live.
It's time to kick the tires and light the fires. The Bo Carver Show is on the air. The Monkey Crew is in place, and here's your head firemaster. Big
Look out.
Wheels, Bo Carver.
Rock.
And welcome to the Bo Carver Show here at noon. Okay, here we're already starting that right, aren't we?
I don't know if I'm
you
supposed
need to go home. Go back. Go to the other place. Right
Sorry,
there.
we're
And
gonna
it
have
should
to
pop up.
Pause for a
Oh,
moment.
boy.
due to
Here we go. Off to a
Oh,
rocking
boy.
start. It's Labor Day weekend, and I think you have to click on it.
I got it.
Is
covered.
Labor Day this Monday?
There you
Yes.
go.
It is.
Oh,
And then you can make your
awesome.
comments down there. So you're
Let me
rocking.
turn the volume down, though.
Yeah, I can hear my father's ego from all the way from that laptop.
And I'm your head fire master again today. And I'm sure that my lovely son will have some comment about that. So
yeah,
go
just
right ahead.
humor me and telling me why you have to call yourself head fire master.
You're gonna
Well,
be ahead of something.
You know, there's one thing that you didn't realize, that I didn't call myself that. I was introduced as that. Now, that's the great
Now you call yourself that.
That's
So
the-
let's wonder why you call yourself
I did
that now.
today, but that's because I've been introduced as that. The great Ron Taylor, who does a lot of our promotional stuff and production stuff. And so when he calls someone the head fire master, that's what they are. Now, I have no idea what that means.
I don't
I
either.
actually think I've lit more fires in my life than you have.
Well, that's true.
Literally,
I do know that.
I agree.
I mean, you almost
Wait,
burnt down her whole
okay,
backyard.
okay. We don't have to get into detail about the fires.
you brought it up, Carver.
Actually, Barbara M. Purple Haze should have been the fire master.
That's
Yeah,
right. I
'cause
was
she-
the only one who
yeah.
had the brains to get the fire
well,
extinguisher.
he was scrambling for
a water hose.
for a water hose, and you went and got a fire extinguisher. Why do we have a? Never mind. All right, let's just
we
move
have
on.
a lot of fire extinguishers. Trust me.
You're figuring it out over there, aren't you?
It's slowly but surely.
Yes, I'm so happy for you. Your life is going to be a lot better now that we've got that figured out.
Next.
Now, if she, after 13 years, can figure me out, I'll
Good
be a
luck
lot
with
happier.
all that.
I give up.
And joining us today, as always, is Purple Haze, who is running and doing the comments on Facebook Live. And hope you're having a great day today. This is September the 1st.
It is.
And I woke up this
Crap.
morning to fireworks.
Did
I'm
you?
going like, when did they start doing fireworks on Labor Day weekend? This is kind of cool. You know, we have them on July 4th.
I
We
was
have
about
them
to
on,
say, I wasn't sleeping with you yet.
and so there was a lot of
Oh, wait. Oh.
let me just say this. I was hearing a lot of booms and kabangs outside the house. Okay. And so anyway,
This is supposed
I
to
got to
be-
go like, man, this is kind of cool. But guess what?
You were dreaming.
It is the first day of dove hunting season. I'm going like,
Oh, I did not realize that.
no
It is.
wonder I was hearing those kabooms.
You were hearing the guns.
Yeah.
And we live in
And-
the country. And they
Yeah, we do
that.
live in the country, so they were really mighty this morning. They were all over the place, and hope y'all get yourself a lot of doves. And I don't know how many doves it's going to take to make a meal, but I would think about 20.
That's
No,
to
you
me
can
the
you can
way-
make you can make stew with doves just out
Okay.
of one. So
Okay.
it's, yeah, it's
With
pretty
one?
good. Yeah,
You've had that before?
I had to crack the neck of a dove.
I don't want to
and
hear this. Thank
I have
you.
Skin
Never
it
done that.
and rip out the
I
feathers.
thought I raised you right.
Well, actually, that was with my mom. So, you know, it has nothing to do with how you raised me. My mother, it was at a camp, and they had
You
had
guys
all
were
these,
hungry?
Yeah, they had all these
You're
doves.
talking about the camp that lasted about 5 minutes?
5-minute camp. Yep. And I had to snap its neck, which I did, and then I had to feather it. And by the time it was done and it was prepared, my appetite was murdered, just like the dove, and so we just left.
There is no way I could do that.
I couldn't eat some. I couldn't either.
I
I,
could
lived on
do
a
it.
farm and we used to do our own chickens, and I wouldn't eat. I
Yeah,
can't
you
do
can't
it.
eat them because
Can't do
they
it. The
just
thought.
you just think about that time that you heard its last breath as you're trying to. consume
Okay,
it.
like we said, it's
I'm
a
about to
family
feel like I'm
show.
having my
Okay,
last
okay,
breath
okay.
right now.
Well, I
listening
was
to this.
hungry.
Well, I fixed your issues. If you're ever trying to lose weight, just talk about murdering animals, and it tends to fix your
Well, let's
issues.
talk. Since we're talking about
Animals.
eating stuff, let's talk about now. I don't know. I haven't tried the I haven't tried the Popeye's chicken sandwich yet.
OMG. They don't have any. You can't. They're always sold out.
Well, that's not really true. Somebody said they called the other day and they had plenty. So I think that's
That's
a little
all
bit of
fake
promotional stuff. But
At least they're picking on the chicken.
Where's the
instead of
nearest
Trump.
Popeyes? Because I'm kind of feeling that
There's
today.
quite a few of them around here.
Okay,
Well-
yeah, let's go hit up a Popeyes. I'm excited.
okay. Well, I'm not a huge chicken sandwich guy.
You love Chick-fil-A.
But when I go to Chick-fil-A, I get their chicken strips, not their chicken nuggets. Now their chicken strips are fantastic, and I get their special sauce, their Chick-fil-A sauce, and then I get some Louisiana hot sauce, put on the chicken, and then dip it into their Chick-fil-A sauce, and it's fantastic. So I don't even get a chicken sandwich when I go there. So, but Graham Knox Mirabo Carver, who's producing the show here on our new camera. And thank you for being here today. He is a huge chicken sandwich.
It's my
lover.
favorite meal. I get it at McDonald's. I get their spicy chicken sandwich with no lettuce, 2 of those. At Chick-fil-A, I get 2 spicy chicken sandwiches with only mayo and Chick-fil-A sauce. Or sorry,
No
nothing on
lettuce.
it. Nothing on. No
They
lettuce.
don't put
No mayo.
lettuce on their sandwiches.
With Chick-fil-A sauce, dip it in there, or buffalo sauce. Anywhere I can go where there is something with a chicken and a bun, I get it. It's wonderful.
Same thing with Wendy's.
Okay, I don't go to Wendy's.
Oh,
there's-
you hate Wendy's. Okay.
Oh, they are good.
Well, he does the spicy chicken sandwiches.
Mhm.
I've
Does Wendy's
never,
not
I've
have
never,
'em?
I've never gone. I haven't gone to Wendy's in like 2 years.
I
so-
love
I understand.
Wendy's. I love Wendy's.
Do you not like it?
I like it. I get spicy chicken sandwich there.
At
Is it good?
Wendy's?
Yeah, I think it is.
Is it?
I love their hamburgers. They're Dave's. Their buns
Well, they're
are
a lot,
great.
but they're like their little junior cheeseburgers blow McDonald's completely out of the water.
Well,
I would
see,
agree with that.
McDonald's I think has some of the lowest meat quality, and
They
I
do.
forget the
That's
scale.
my problem with them. I don't like their meat.
Their meat quality is the lowest.
I like their
Same
onions.
reason I
And
won't go
now-
to Taco Bell. I don't like their meat.
And now I don't like going into those that Taco Bell and McDonald's where you have to order from their little kiosk systems.
Well, that's
Mhm.
because everybody wants to raise their minimum wage to $15 an hour. McDonald's can't afford it, so they're showing them, hey, you're replaceable.
Mhm.
And that's what's going to happen when you do that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a
absolutely.
balance between what that people can pay
Yep.
and what they, because it's a couple different ways they're going to go. If they're forced to raise minimum wage or whatever to $15 an hour, they're either going to raise the prices on the food or they're
Mhm.
going to cut their costs. And one of the ways to cut costs is with the human being.
Absolutely.
And so I know that everybody doesn't understand those economics, but that's fact.
it is.
I mean, it's just if
And especially with the full timer, because then they're paying your insurance too. It costs them a lot.
By law
exactly.
now, yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing as if I buy a car but I can't afford insurance, then
Mhm.
I mean pretty soon I'm going to be losing that car, or because
Absolutely.
I'll be in jail without having insurance. So you have to be able to cover all your costs in order to be successful in any business. And so therefore, I know that everybody likes to make a lot of money. I get that. And I think that you think that you're worth more than, maybe $7 or $8 an hour at a minimum wage job. And we all feel like we're worth more than what we really are probably. And I get that. But you have to realize that that's not always going to be the case when it comes down to you being able to stay at a job
Mhm.
and be able to get the kind of money you think you're going to get.
Well, 90%, 95% of jobs today are either already replaceable or soon to be replaced by any sort of artificial intelligence. I mean, if you went back a couple hundred years ago when horses were still being widely used as the best mode of quick transportation, and you told them that, say you're the horse and every other horse is thinking we can't be replaced. Everyone uses us. We are needed. There's no way they can replace us. We have cars, but they're terrible. They're slow. They're expensive. As time goes on, obviously you learn that everything we do can basically be summed up into an algorithm. And so there's not really even white collar jobs. A lot of people think they're safe, but in all reality, almost everything
Nowadays,
gets taken away.
and probably maybe for the last forever past ever,
Mhm.
that if you feel like you're safe in your job, you might want to look in the mirror every
No, you're
morning,
not.
because I don't think there's anything that's safe. I mean, I think you remember the days of the pager.
Oh yes,
I'm
I
sure
remember those
everybody when they
days.
got in that business,
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
remember
everybody
those
when they
days.
got in that business,
What's
man,
up?
And they thought
Pager.
that would be good.
I'm here for the long haul, and man, this is job security, and now nobody.
What's a pager?
See, he doesn't even know what one
No,
is.
no, genuinely, what's
You've never seen the doctors carry those little boxes on their
I don't even
belts?
see the doctors in it anymore.
Well, where I worked, we've still used them, but that's how the
You know,
like
they're a
these
little box that-
Let me
rectangular
interrupt a second. If you,
Yes.
button
if,
at the top.
They're about this big. They're not very
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
And
my
they
mom
put a
carries
phone
around
number at
one
the
of
top
Your
of
mom
them so you
carries
know to
one
call.
because she works in a
okay, yeah,
hospital.
okay, yeah, I know.
I think if you back out of that, you can share.
I don't know what
to
it
this
does,
page.
but I know it exists.
Share it to my page.
Like
I think that might work.
Just don't like take calls on it. What do you do?
It just beeps you and gives you a phone number to call
It
and
just
lets you
gives you
know.
a phone number to
Or
call.
you can do a code. And at the hospitals, they'll put a code knowing, okay, you need to go do this. A patient needs you, or we need you in ER.
Well, you had
here.
these little small messages, right? And then it'd
Mhm.
say like call, this is emergency call. Like when I was driving limousines, I'd get this, hey, call the office, or you got a pickup coming out at the airport, or something like that.
Okay, so
and
I'm
then-
guessing taxi drivers also use them as well, maybe.
Well, not anymore.
So they're
It's
kind
cell
of-
phone world, period.
okay.
And
well,
so those are the kind of jobs they're not safe, and they're not even here anymore.
Nope.
So things change in this world, and so if you think you're safe, hopefully you are. I want you to be. I want you to do as good as you can in your life and be successful.
but in all reality,
count
no
on it.
job is safe.
No
Not a
job is
single job will ever be protected from any sort of artificial intelligence, because eventually, robotics is going to be so advanced that the AI can make more AI, and there's not even a need for programmers. And most AI is self-learning now, that learns from its own mistakes, has neural pathways just like human beings. So as time goes on, there's really
So
not.
You
human
lost
beings
me
are
on this
screwed.
conversation. Yeah.
If you go back, hit that button right there and go back, I think you can share it, and then hit share right there.
Well, there's
There you
a
go.
theory called the singularity that eventually, once artificial intelligence
Yes,
reaches, human
Share
being
the video.
level.
I don't know.
John knows the top one.
Are you guys okay? Are you?
I don't know. I'm dealing with your dad.
We're working- we're doing
things
something
on
new
me
here.
today, and
We're
There you
trying to
go.
figure
That's
it
what you
out.
can do right there, and you share the page. Just hit post,
your dad is changing things on me, and I'm trying to keep up.
and you're learning, and that'll now share it to that page, which is the original page we used to be on.
and which is probably where everybody is looking for
Well,
you.
maybe that, but now they'll know it's right there. So
Hey, did you ever introduce our guest
I'm getting there.
someday?
We're getting there.
This is
Maybe
Labor
by the
Day.
end of the show.
This is Labor Day weekend, and it's supposed to be away from labor, but now I'm feeling more labor.
I am too.
And joining us today, our dear friend that we've known for a long time. You almost lost it, didn't you?
I
Or did
didn't.
you?
Aren't you proud of
Oh,
me?
yeah. see
Oh,
that.
look at that.
Ooh.
That we met when we were at Salem Media Group, but I knew him before then because he was originally with the 1310 The Ticket, which
I
is a sports talk show that
Yes.
he worked on the hard line and
Bad radio. lot
Bad
of
radio,
shows.
several.
Mhm. There are a lot of shows.
Bob
The High
Sturm
Spot.
show, right?
Yep. The Ender with Mark Followell.
So
and Doug
basically,
Anderson.
you were Mr. Ticket.
I was Mr. Ticket, but they didn't give me an award or a T-shirt. for
And no
that.
watch or nothing, right?
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
And here he is, the awesome Psycho Dave
Woohoo.
Martin.
All
Did
right.
you get a thank you?
I did get a thank you.
Okay, all right.
Did
I
you get a
got several
missus ticket?
things. What's that?
A miss ticket?
Yeah, I did.
He got a free ticket right
got
out
a
of
free
there.
ticket right out of there to the
And so-
unemployment line.
So thank you for, but you
my favorite
you
type
went
of
to
ticket.
bigger and better things, and we met you at 620 where you are, where we had our show,
Mhm.
and that's Salem Media Group,
That's it.
and
yes.
you've been there a long time now.
I've been there since 06, October of 06.
So this is Mr. Radio in the house with us today, and we appreciate him joining us. And one of the reasons why that we have him on the air today is because we're going to be talking about several different things that are happening through the Carver Plus Productions, which is powered by the Tsunami Digital Network. And but first, I want to bring up a couple things. I want to say thanks to Danny at Joe's Italian Restaurant for just always giving us a great time. We were there this past Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember. He's such a great time when we go in there, and the food there is fantastic.
We really do eat there a lot. don't we?
Yes.
We might have-
And
How are the drinks?
well,
BYOB.
it's BYOB.
Oh, then
Sorta
the
like last
drinks
night.
were great.
Yeah.
So whatever you think is great, you bring that in there, and
There
it's
you
all
go.
fantastic. So I'd like for you to check that out. He's in Justin, Texas. And so when you go to Justin, Texas, go to Joe's Italian Restaurant, and they're closed on Sunday, though. That's the sad part. And so start going there on Monday through Saturday. And he is such a fantastic guy, has such fantastic dishes. It's really different place. But thank you, Danny, for having us there the other day. It was awesome. And we'll keep telling people about your place. Also, Mocha Coffee. It's mokk-a.com. And just go to mokk-a.com and get all the coffee that you think you can handle, because it's the best coffee in the world. They have 5 different blends, and it's bean or ground, and it's fantastic. And Karen Howard, thank you for being a sponsor on the show at mocha.com. It's mokk-a.com. And also, when you can like Joe's Italian restaurant at Joe's Pizza Pasta Justin on Facebook. Joe's Pizza Pasta Justin. That's on Facebook. Go there and tell them that you were sent by us and that you're going to try them if you haven't, and tell them you like them if you have, because they're great. And so there's some of the things that I wanted to bring up. And Barbara Ann, how you doing over there?
Well, people are figuring out where we're at. So the summer's coming over.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, y'all. Sorry we switched pages on you.
We're okay. It's had to be done.
I know, baby. I'm just apologizing.
And we have changed kind of channels on Facebook Live. We were doing it a lot out of the really kind of off my personal page, and we've changed it over to the like page, which is facebook.com/Bo Carver Show. So
is there a certain reasoning for that?
Yes, because it's unlimited amount on the like page and
unlimited amount of
people that can be on there.
Okay.
Versus a personal page, you're limited to a certain amount.
Yep.
So as this thing grows, we're going to be stuck if we don't get out of it. So it was a big mistake on my part from the beginning, but we got to change it.
You got to
now.
live and learn.
And today's September 1st. There's a lot of new laws out there. There's a lot of changes, and even our show's changing as of September 1st. So
Yes.
making a lot of new changes.
It was a law.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of
it was
course.
voted into Congress.
Yes.
It's book
Yeah.
335 BS that we changed.
BS.
That we changed.
I like that.
And so we're still on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com and then search Bo Carver Show. And that we're on every Sunday from noon to 1. And it's a great time of the year. A lot of things are happening. High school football kicked in. College football kicked in. Next weekend, you got the pros. You got baseball wrapping up, fixing to go into playoffs. The weather is going to start changing. In fact, Graham and I went to the Ponder High School game the other night, and it was like 72, 3 degrees.
Oh, that's perfect
breeze.
right there.
It was perfect.
It
weather.
was fantastic. So
the greatest thing is that you don't recognize the temperature. Like, you don't know whether it's cold or hot or either or, because it's just a perfect blend of the two. You feel
Comfortable.
at peace. It's very nice.
We
and
had
you can
just
sit
had
there
storms.
and enjoy.
The air was clear. It was nice. Yeah.
Not humid anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, and there's
nice.
a breeze that kind of blows wind to you, and you get all the smells of the food.
It makes you so ready
and
for the fall.
Yes.
It's my
I can't
favorite
wait.
time of
I
year.
Well,
I
and
know.
that's-
hate the summer. I love winter.
well, we're big into
fall.
that, so you guys will start being happier.
He loves the summer though. So
Well, I don't like it at 100+ degrees.
well, that's what the
but-
summer is in Texas. That's kind of
Well,
what you're signing
no,
up
I
for.
mean
103.
around the 90s, I'm good with that.
I don't.
But
I
over the
do-
hundreds doesn't work.
under 80 is okay. Above 40.
What about you,
Doesn't
Dave?
work.
What's your favorite time of year?
Mine is fall. Because
Yeah.
spring, it just heats up really fast. It's one day it's nice, but then the next day it's 100 degrees already.
Yeah.
And humid and rainy.
Yeah.
I don't think we really had a spring this year, did we?
We never have any spring.
No.
We go straight from 20 degrees to 100 here.
Yeah.
And-
I like
and,
it about 50 at night, and I like it to get about 80 in the day.
That's pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd lower that to about 70.
Yeah, I like
40.
70s.
Oh, those are good. I like when it's 40, 50, because when in the house, you get to wrap yourself in a blanket.
That's
And
what
feel
I like, and
cozy.
go to sleep.
And watch
Yes.
football and eat chili and
Mhm.
And you're
yeah,
no longer seen as lazy when you take naps. You're seen as
staying warm.
yeah. You're just keeping warm. It's not like I nap at all. Who takes naps anymore? It's
OMG, let's
2019.
not go there.
But yeah,
I hardly ever see him away.
Yeah, where was he when you got here, Psycho
I am-
Dave?
He was asleep.
Sleeping, exactly.
I am
He
much
said
like
hi and then he disappeared.
I'm much like a lion. I have to sleep about 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Gosh, I wish I had that gig.
Yeah, unless I go to school, in which I sleep like 16 hours a day.
I wish I had that gig too.
Crazy.
Yes, those days
I
are
miss-
over for us.
Yeah, I miss those days.
I hate
What-
early mornings though. I hate that.
What are you getting, like 6 a day? Is that about where you're at? 4 to 6?
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
Most adults, I mean, and I just don't think either there's some sort of miscalculation or at like the end of the weekend you take a huge sleep.
Mhm.
One of those, because how do you live off of 4 to 6? I couldn't do that.
It's not
Well,
easy sometimes.
Well,
Eight to
get
12.
tired.
the
8 to
question
12.
I have for Psycho Dave is that your normal work hours at Salem Media is what?
Midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and
That's
that's
normal.
Sunday
Mm-hmm.
night.
Now
Is-
Sunday's different because
Well, I know you have that
yeah.
you do that different, but you work on Sunday. That's your first day of the week, right?
Yeah,
So Monday night then is your second. So Thursday is your last day of the week.
correct.
Thursday night.
Thursday going into Friday is my last day.
Right. So
yeah.
at 8 o'clock Friday morning
I
is
am
the end.
done.
That's your weekend
Yeah.
start, right?
Mhm.
So now you usually sleep in the afternoons, right?
I usually fall asleep about 12 o'clock and I'll wake up around 8. Sometimes my body doesn't let me go that far, but I try.
Okay. Now, what happens when the weekend rolls around? How do you adjust yourself? Do you still stay on that schedule?
No, I don't ever try to stay on the schedule. I go home Fridays and sometimes I
At
stay
8
up
o'clock.
at 8 o'clock. I'll go home. I usually get home about 8:45, 9 o'clock.
10, yeah, right. Whatever.
And then sometimes I'll stay up. Sometimes I just go home and I'll pass out for
like
a
take
couple.
a nap a couple hours
Yeah.
or something.
I'll take about a 2-hour nap, and then I try to go to 10 o'clock at night, but somebody decides to get into the beer about 6 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock I pass out because it just
It
knocks
just
me out.
knocks you right out, right?
Yeah.
So
And then the problem with that is, and it doesn't matter if I stay up until 9 or if I go to 1 o'clock in the morning.
that's Friday night.
Yeah,
now we're talking
and
about.
Friday night. It usually tends to happen that I wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning and can't go back to sleep.
So
then I
that's
have to-
Saturday morning,
Yeah,
correct?
Saturday morning, and then I try to take a nap, or if I have something to do,
That night, you try to take a nap that afternoon or
yeah,
something,
I try to take a nap. But a lot of the times I stay busy, so
and then
it-
turn right around, and Sunday afternoon you're back working again.
yeah. And I sleep Saturday night too. I used to.
That's a horrible schedule.
It is. It's, well,
There's
and
someone on
then,
Facebook saying she only gets 2 hours of sleep. I rest every 2 hours. I'm good for 2 weeks. That's
oh
insane.
my gosh, I couldn't do
Now,
that.
what is she on?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
so
Angela,
that's
what
there's
are
a
you
difference.
on?
There's
Who's
a
that?
difference.
Who's that?
You don't. Okay, so sleep. This is important. You can sleep very little, but that requires you to take resting periods for your body to recover.
Mhm.
And also you're not going to retain information as well. You're not going to be as productive. You could seriously hurt yourself if you don't rest. Now, sleep.
Yeah, because you don't make good decisions. That includes maybe driving or
Mhm.
anything else.
I mean, sleep and rest are two different things with similar functionalities. If you
Mhm.
rest, you get to process yourself just like you would when you're asleep. It's just not as effective.
Correct.
So if you sleep very little, you tend to rest more than you actually will sleep. And that can be just 5-minute periods of you sitting there blanking out because your body has just kind of shut down for a second. And you kind of get into the groove of sleep deprivation after a while because 2 hours is just not enough. So
this person gets 2 hours and then can go 2 weeks. Man,
Good luck with that.
she must be in college or something.
She has insomnia since she was little.
Oh, well, that sucks. And I'm sorry I made fun of that because that can't be good either.
no, see, the thing is that's probably a case of she rests a lot as well. So with insomnia, I'm not going to say anything as fact, but I'm pretty sure you can get rest, but you're never going to be able to possibly sleep just as well as, your typical person. You're going to always be stuck to a schedule. And so,
Well, everybody needs sleep. That's part of life. And if you're just joining us, we're doing a new thing, and slowly but surely, with people kind of figuring that out, we are on the facebook.com/Bo Carver Show. That's facebook.com/Bo Carver Show. It's a little bit different than where we've been before. People are figuring that out. And please, if you don't mind, if you're on the show with us, hit the share button on your page and share the
Art
show.
shared it.
Who?
Art, he already shared
Okay,
it.
Art, thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing
thank
that. If you'll share the show, then people will know we're on here. This is a new location for us than what we've been on for the last several years. So please do that for me and hit some loves. How about hitting that love button if you've got that, or the like button? Let us know that you're enjoying the show.
Show us some love.
Show Psycho Dave some love because he
Yeah,
needs
show
it.
us some love.
And we're going to be continuing on this particular station on this facebook.com/Bo Carver Show every Sunday at noon. And we've got some really great shows coming up that are going to be on some different locations from the Carver Plus Productions. We've got starting this week, starting today, actually,
Today.
and Thursday night, we will be doing a show with our friend and colleague here, Psycho Dave Martin, along with Stephanie Nadolny, Purple Haze, and myself. We'll be doing a show starting at 7:00 on Thursdays, once a week, that is about bullying. It's called Stop Bullying, Stand Together, and no, I'm sorry, Stop Bullying, Start Caring, and Stand Together.
There you go.
And so we're going to hit that head on. That's a huge problem. So you might want to check that out. We might be on a couple of pages on Facebook there till we get rolling. But we want people to know that there's issues out there in this world.
Oh my gosh! Now that school just started, we see parents talking about the bullying going on in the
Yes,
schools.
already.
It's been 2 weeks?
About
Mm-hmm.
That's
It
sad.
doesn't take long.
It doesn't take long. I guess I got to start up and rooster
Well,
up.
see, I mean, people who are getting bullied tend to get bullied the next year. So really, I just see it as
it keeps going.
It turns into a game.
Yeah, I think it turns into a phase of huge stupidity.
So if you see someone getting bullied at school, Graham, do you step up?
Well, no one really gets bullied at my school.
Really?
That's good.
Genuinely, yeah, because it's so small that when they file in,
Would you
there
step
was
up?
well, of course, but there was one. See, racism in a small town is a huge thing. There's a lot of very, very bigoted minded people. So anyone who isn't racist kind of gathers together, and that can be a bunch of white people too. And so one dude was getting just completely made fun of, simply for the fact that he was of Mexican descent, and I think it was about 15 people, basically got on this one dude and got him into a corner and made him back down. And so that, watch yourself. Like, just be
So
careful.
they just threatened him and
Say
walked
they
away.
threatened him, and then it was over, and he never talked bad about anyone of color ever again. I mean, I think and people look at him in the eyes, you're not going to get.
So they were stopping a bully.
Yes, and I told them about it, so I guess that was my fault because I heard him.
Starting stuff, typical Carver.
I know, right? Well, I heard him. I don't know if it was. I think it was a race thing, but at the same time, there was underlying problems too. There's never just someone making fun of
There's
someone's
always
race.
more to it, right?
There's always more, but I saw it as a race thing. So I went over to everyone. I was like, man, hey, and I'm not gonna say names, but hey, Bob, these people are talking to you, talking about you. And about 4 people came over and got in the dude's face, and then it slowly increased in numbers into what could have easily been the biggest fight I've ever seen. So it was, luckily they calmed it down themselves. Everyone is pretty civilized in parents, so it's okay.
they are.
Okay, we're not going to get into how civilized, but somewhat of civil. How would you say that? Civility? Is that a word? I don't think that is. Also, there's a thing with bullying that people will ignore problems just for the fact that they don't want to get into it. Like school, definitely the school system is at fault here. They'll ignore bullying to say that the people will figure it out themselves, and they kind of just take a step back approach, and that always ends up with someone getting mortally injured. I mean, that never goes well. You were talking about a kid who got hit in the throat so hard that he couldn't breathe, and then he started seizing. What was the story behind that?
He was getting bullied, and the kid had hit him so hard that it broke his windpipe, and a staffer walked by and just watched the whole thing happen and didn't do a dang thing. The bully realized he went too far, took him to the office. Then the office staff closed the blinds in the window, laid him on the ground, and called his mom. Didn't get the
Wow.
nurse, didn't call 911. I mean, there's a lawsuit going
That's
on.
some sorry.
I actually saw this on TMZ. That's how bad it was. It's on public TV. And the bully was actually allowed to continue school, and nothing happened to him. And
I
now
know.
this
Okay,
kid,
that's-
now this kid has problems. He can't even walk as of today,
Yeah, so that's
and nothing was done to the bully, and it's on film. It's awful.
well. See, I
So we
need
need to
more
stop it.
context to say that there needs to be something done to the bully, because bully is a very overused term.
There
that
were
I-
3 kids picking on this kid.
Okay, that's the extra context I need. If there's a level of predatory, like a little level of preying on someone,
Yeah.
that's when I see a huge issue with it. If it's a scuffle between two people who are
And it was not. Yeah.
both equal in terms of
Oh yeah.
how much they're going
you
at
get
each
a
other,
180-pound kid picking on a 90-pound
yeah,
kid.
that's
So
that's
let's
a
talk,
level
yeah.
of just
Not
scumminess
No,
that
and
you
Dave,
shouldn't
you,
be allowed
you
to
know
see.
a little bit about that. That's why you're on a
I
program
do.
with us.
I know
You
a lot
were-
about that. It
you-
happened to me in school.
Yeah.
Elementary through about high school. It stopped there. At least the physical part stopped. I still got verbally abused.
And you
Or
just learn to shut
bully.
it out.
Yeah.
But now with cyberbullying and all that leads to a lot of suicides. And that's, what our show is. We're going to do some awareness. We're going to talk
Mhm.
about that and see what we can do. I always ask people, if you see someone sitting alone in the cafeteria or sitting alone outside, sit down next to them, introduce yourself. It's not going to hurt you. And it's going to give this kid some confidence to realize, hey, I am somebody.
And the person who's alone and sitting down is also having the problem of not going somewhere and going to talk to someone, because that's
Some people are lacrosse. They're drawn in. They're not open. Yeah.
just
Mhm.
I just, no matter how solitary someone is, there's always the ability to socialize with other people.
You can always make someone's day by just saying hello.
find
Yeah.
the people. I mean, the first day I walked into school, I made the very ballsy play of going and sitting next to the entire senior class and talking. Thank you, Father, for this genetic ability. Talking
Oh,
my way,
boy.
Let's
talking my way
say
into their
for-
group.
What now?
And on
Talking my way into
And
the
on
group. That
Facebook,
was,
we've got people commenting about some issues they're having. We appreciate you sharing your stories, and please do and communicate to us. We'll see what we can
And
do.
share
But
this show because this is new page. I'm sorry, but we're gonna get it straightened
people are
out.
finding us. My mom found us. Wendy found
Yes.
us. Wesley found us. Thank you for finding us.
Yeah,
We
thank
love
you. And hit the share button, please, if you don't mind. And because that will share the show from your place to your friends and let them know about this. We really appreciate it. This is September 1st. There's a lot of changes going on. Football's back, all this kind of stuff. And then we're changing so that we can grow the show. We're in a position now, we're getting a lot of attention with a lot of different things, and we've got to be in a place where we can make that happen. And where we were on our normal previous weekly show
We're
was
blowing up on likes and loves.
was going to hamper that. So it's new. Bear with us. It's going to get better, and we do appreciate you joining in. And we love you for that. This is the Bo Carver Show. We're here every Sunday from noon to 1. Purple Haze in the house, working the Facebook feed.
And I'm going to be starting a new show.
Well, I'm going to. Graham Knoxmere Bo Carver is doing the video.
why are you
production.
getting emails about pancreatic cancer? Can you just talk to me?
Well-
if you have pancreatic cancer, just come to me. Talk to me. We can sit down. And we can
Email.
have
Well, I
some
get
less-
emails about Russian girls too, but that doesn't mean I
Okay,
answer.
that's
I saw an
Oh,
email today
boy.
about you want to have an affair, and sure enough, lit me up. I
Do
was like,
you
what?
want- do you
Wow.
want to have an affair? That's
Yeah, I
wonderful.
know.
You also
well,
got
want to and be able to is two different
Right.
questions.
That's
isn't
true.
it?
you also got an email about how to go from like a Nokia to an iPhone 10 with trade ups. So that was weird. Father, you need to clear your emails. Get a new email. It's
Next.
bad. Got a lot of
Okay,
spam.
and Psycho Dave in the house.
That's me.
From
Ooh,
Salem
ooh.
Media Group, previously with 1310 The Ticket. And so we just talked to you about a show that's happening on Thursday, starting this Thursday, and every Thursday is called Stop Bullying, Start Caring, Stand Together, as we're going to hit anti-bullying head on and bring a lot of different things to the show. Also with Stephanie Nadolny, Psycho Dave will be on that show, Purple Haze, and yours truly, Bo Carver. And on Friday.
This Friday.
This Friday.
Ooh, in
This
sync.
Friday.
This Friday.
And on at 7 p.m. But it's going to be at facebook.com/Bo and Grego.
I did post that on our Facebook page.
And that is going to be with the
Greg Williams, the Hammer,
Hammer, the man,
the Husky Hugger.
the
Boy, he's got a lot of nicknames,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Yes, he
yeah,
does.
Motorcycle Grego.
The one that
Motorcycle
always-
Grego, yeah.
And everyone talks about. Am I
Who-
allowed to say this on the radio? P1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he was
P1s.
originally part of the P1 group, which was 1310 The Ticket, also part of the Hardline. He will be joining us here in the Carver Plus Productions studio, powered by Tsunami Digital Network.
Tsunami Digital
Tsunami
Network.
Digital
And
Network.
we will be doing what we are going to be calling the Spam Saloon. And that is capital SPAMM. S stands for sports, which is good at.
Where everybody knows him from.
Politics. We're going to be adventurous. Hopefully, we're going to be talking music. And of course, we're going to have to deal with the media. So that starts Friday at 7 p.m. And then that show, the Spam Saloon with Greg Williams, Grego, will be on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So join us for that. That's going to be a fantastic show. Share the word. That's also going to be on YouTube at youtube.com/Bo and Grego Show. Then we have what else? Oh, then we got Purple Haze
Don't
starting a
sweep me under the rug.
podcast. That'll be a video podcast that will start here soon. That is going to be called Women with Weapons. Now,
It's not about women
Think
going
about
and getting
that
a
for a
weapon
minute.
and hurting somebody. It's about women learning to protect themselves.
A
and
lot
with
of different things.
types of weapons, such as your hands, your legs, self-defense, carrying a knife, carrying mace,
staring people down. That's kind of weapon.
being intimidating. How for women to
Your personality.
prepare. My personality. I know. That's
Your
why I'm the perfect one
personality.
for it.
You are scary. You're not only scary. I've never seen you hurt anyone in your life.
I never had to.
But you're still just terrifying. You're just you mortally
Takes
scare
a lot,
me.
Graham.
No, you're
Wow.
And
Okay.
what we
I'm
want,
intimidating. I've been
What
told
we-
my
Yes,
whole
you're
life
you're
I'm
just
intimidating.
I don't know. It's not you don't have like a particularly powerful stature. You don't hold yourself very high. It's not like an ego thing. It's
It's the way I was raised
I want to learn it
to
because
carry
well,
yourself
I
proudly.
tell you one thing. One of the main things about for anybody, forget even women, is being aware of your surroundings,
prepared and planned.
prepared and planned.
Yeah.
And she'll get into all that. It's going to be a great show called Women with Weapons with Purple Haze. And you can like that page soon. I don't know if it's possible now, but that's at facebook.com/Purple Haze #1. You just put the #1 on it. Don't spell it out. It's Purple Haze 1.
And I'm working on
The
it.
number
It's
one.
just getting up. So
Well,
give me.
keep in mind that if you own a weapon, I was just saying this before the show started, and you tune out of your environment and you're no longer prepared for any sort of intruder or someone wishing bodily harm on you, there's no point. Your weapon becomes just
Graham,
as useless.
That's
It's
why
bad.
your hands. If you're caught off guard, you can click right back into the mode. And that's
No.
what we're
See,
gonna
the
talk
thing
about.
is most people when they're shooting up a place, they have something to shoot with and a gun, and your hands are useless.
And that's the grand.
That's
Hair-
why
That's
you
it.
carry a gun.
Carry a gun and stay tuned in.
Yeah.
Stay understanding and aware of your environment, because if
That's
you
the whole
don't,
thing. Awareness.
then it doesn't matter what you have on you.
We go in a
Okay.
restaurant and we make our plan. We walk in. We're aware.
We're
look.
paranoid though. We're borderline
not paranoid. We're
yeah.
prepared, and that's what I want women.
I thank
This will be part
everybody
of our
for sending the
podcast.
loves and the likes on
Yes.
this show right now. We do appreciate that. I know we're on a different page, and we appreciate you tuning in. And we're going to grow this. Tell everybody about the change, and we'll try to promote that as we go. But the Women with Weapons, that's going to start as a video podcast on Facebook.com/Purple. That's PURPLE, but HAYS, HAYS,
One.
and then put 1, the #1, and don't spell it out, and don't put the #1. It's just Purple Haze 1. Like that page. That's going to happen soon. It's a video podcast. Looking forward to that. So there's a lot of things going on here at the Carver Plus Productions, and we're excited about kicking this in. And then once a month, and he was here last Sunday. The next visit will be September the 22nd, Sunday, September 22nd, right here on the Bo Carver Show. The fabulous country music hit maker, Ricky Lynn Gregg, will be back on the show. Ricky Lynn Gregg was fantastic. And we decided to do something once a month and talk about a lot of things about Texas music and people love that show. And we're looking forward to having him once a month to do a show, especially with Ricky Lynn Gregg. So there's a lot going on. We appreciate y'all tuning in. And I know that for me, I do like the change of weather. I do like warm weather more than cold weather, but when you get into the 100 degrees, it does get a little extreme.
Everyone is done with the 103.
Yeah,
to
we
like
get
100
tired.
Tired of mowing.
But I get tired of the 20-degree weather too.
Oh, I do too.
So
I think it felt like, I think it was 107 a couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. It felt like 107 was about 199, something like that.
199.
No, 100 or 99.
Oh, I thought it said 199. Felt like it.
No,
It gets
too
hot out there.
I
It's too
can't do it.
hot.
And when you're sitting in a building and the building itself is starting to get warm, that's how you know it's too hot outside. Because
Well-
not even insulation and ventilation, none of it will work.
Any sweat places you
Eh.
should never sweat.
I don't want to know.
I don't think
that's-
I don't think Graham could actually sweat in places that maybe
he
you could
shouldn't sweat. It's just
Yeah,
awful.
We're gonna be. We're gonna be
All right, we're
done.
getting off
It's
track.
awful.
I want to send something out. Speaking of women with weapons, let's just go back a little bit to that conversation. My heart goes out to all these people that get involved in these mass shootings. There was one that just happened, I believe, yesterday in Odessa, Texas, where a person was pulled over by, I believe,
The state trooper pulled him over.
and he went wacky.
Opened fire on
and,
him.
did he shoot the officer?
Yes, he did. And there are 7 dead and 21 wounded.
And he just
two
did
of
it while they were on the
Two
road.
of them are state troopers. He was pulled over and he opened fire, took off, stole a mail truck. As he was driving, he was shooting. And then he stole a mail truck and started shooting.
Why?
And ended up in
Why was he pulled
like a
over?
big old,
Do you know?
there was a what
Does
is
it
it called?
matter?
A BOGO out on his car.
Hmm.
So for some reason he was a suspicious character. He may have been shooting before he got pulled over. I didn't get the full story. I just saw where the 2 troopers were shot. There's still someone in intensive care, 7 dead and 21
Because unless
injured.
someone has done something severely
Hi,
wrong,
Jeanette.
they're
There's a
not
reason
gonna
why he was
shoot
pulled
Thank you for
over.
joining us
They-
today. Gmal, thanks for joining us. Tell people coming on, let us know who's on. Thank you for joining us. Well,
It's not showing me, but anyways.
I know Wendy's on. I know.
Darla Ray was on.
there's-
Micah's on.
oh, cool.
Our wrestler, our female wrestler.
Awesome.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Micah. And speaking of that, I want to bring that up too. I don't want to get away from the, I'm never going to come back to this thing because it's a problem. But September the 28th, we have another great Pride and Glory professional wrestling show that's going to be in Denton and to raise money for 22 Kill. And that's to help veterans that have PTSD issues and give them some ways to be able to thwart those problems off. 22 Kill is a fantastic organization, and the funds and the money that are raised will be for that. And I believe there's going to be 6 matches. And again, duo emceeing by Big Will's Bow Carver and Barbary Ann Purple Haze. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a different location in Denton, but we'll give you more details about that. So keep that in mind. The tickets are only $10, a 4-pack for $30. If you've never been to one, it's fantastic, and it'll be held on Saturday, September 28th. We'll talk more about that. We're going to be doing a live remote on September the 19th for the to raise money. We'll be in Denton, and to raise money for the Texas Hall of Fame, Veterans Hall of Fame, the Texas Veterans Hall of Fame. Gary Steele's involved in that. We're looking forward to doing that. So there's a lot going on. And so as we come into this September, the Carver Plus Productions are going to be rocking the house in and out of the house.
Woohoo.
So-
I'm ready. Let's go, baby.
So we appreciate y'all's support with that. There's been a lot of great things that's happened with our Carver Plus Productions, and I'm really looking forward to all the different things that we're involved in. And I hope you'll share the word and help us with that as well, and tune into the shows.
Loving our new studio. We're doing a big.
So
space
nobody's
over.
commented about that yet, have they? Our new,
No, but that's okay. They're not supposed to.
where
Just-
we've actually gotten more in color.
Father, you just have just the
driest
most-
sense of humor.
No,
The
Right.
warp to you.
Father, are you egocentric? I hope
I don't
you're
even
not.
know what that means.
hope you're not
So don't
Eagles
even
fan.
ask me.
Don't be focused on.
I
See,
guess
'cause-
I guess if I don't know what that means I am, right?
Probably.
Yeah, yeah.
no.
I throw narcissistic a little bit in there.
He just, I mean,
I'm feeling a lot of love.
the
this
whole
morning,
idea.
Simon.
Okay, so let's
You
just get
are
this.
loved.
Let's just get this in check. Barbarian did just about all the work in here. Let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so it's not
Okay.
our new studio.
No, it is
basically-
our new
Basically, her
studio.
new
Your
creation.
dad told me what to do, and I
Our
did it.
studio, her creation. Okay,
He let me finally do what I wanted to do.
and look at how it turned out.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's fantastic, and I do appreciate that.
Studio
And,
light. We got a giant new monkey, which
I
has just no purpose
know.
of being here.
Yes,
Just
sir.
no.
He's my number one fan. He's bigger than I am.
He
Yeah.
genuinely is
Yes.
just the largest monkey I've ever
This
seen.
is
I know he's cool.
the monkey business.
I've always wanted to
crew
own
cooking.
a monkey, and I meant real and alive.
What are
When
all
you
the
guys bought
monkeys
me
you-
25
Stuffed animals.
stuffed animals, I was kind of flabbergasted. I was not expecting that.
Well, here's your nightmares coming to life.
Why? Why so many?
I don't have to change their diapers.
I remember like the first couple, and then
People
like
send those to us.
the next 10, then 15.
Okay, let's get off the monkeys and back to something a little bit more.
What have we been talking about so far?
Well, I want to talk about these mass shootings
okay,
definitely.
I can do
because
that.
we wasn't what 3 weeks ago it happened in El Paso and in Ohio, I believe it was Dayton, and
As of today, the new laws with the new guns.
well, what is that?
You can actually carry guns into a school now. It has to be concealed. You can also carry guns into place of worship now. It has to be concealed. And there also, I forgot the third one, but I know those two major ones now. On the school grounds, though, besides the teachers that carry, you are allowed to have them in your glove box as long as they're not sitting out.
Well, unfortunately, we've come to that place,
Yes.
and whether you like it or not.
And this is in Texas, by the way.
Yeah, this is the Texas laws. And hopefully that'll be everywhere, which I know it won't be. But if when you advertise, and I know that we live in Ponder, Texas, and 2 years ago they had signs up that this was a gun-free zone. Like when you pull into the parking lot, like you get into there, and that's just like advertisement.
Yeah, that's what I see.
It's not a good idea.
I try to become very neutral and look at the perspective of why someone did whatever they did. And to me, like a shooter, when they see gun-free zone, it's kind of like saying like
Free French fries with your burger.
really,
Yep.
it just seems like
It's an invite.
get over here. You can shoot up this place. No one has protection on them. Go ahead, go for it. That's all I see.
And not only that, they're going into a place where they know there's a lot of folk there.
Oh yeah.
This
They want
is
to do the most harm.
where the church,
Yes.
like a church or a school or even
And what's going to affect people the most?
like
a lot of sporting
Walmart.
events as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, those kind of things. So
Conventions.
that might be one of the places. Was that mentioned? Sporting events,
But I didn't see that.
because
mentioned.
that's technically in Texas has been against the law.
yeah,
Even
conventions as well.
I haven't seen that.
concealed, even concealed, you can't carry it
Normally
into
they
a
make them
sporting
gun-free.
event.
See, to me, any collection of a large. Okay, see, even with school shooters aren't deterred by two people carrying guns. That's not going to deter a school shooter because most of them commit suicide soon after, so they're okay with death. They've accepted the fact that they'll
This is
probably end
it,
up dead.
yeah.
So they're like a suicide bomber.
So their goal is not to not get shot at the end of it. It's to have as many dead as possible by the time they do end up dead in the first place. That's their goal.
And to put shock into America.
So and to get
shock
attention,
They
factor,
want the
yeah.
fear.
Huh?
They want the fear.
yeah, they feed
Yeah.
off of it.
Yeah.
It's
They want people to fear
Well, and I
everything,
think another thing
like they
they
did in
want.
Plano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is they get notoriety
Oh,
because
yeah.
I believe that a
That's
lot.
another thing. They need to stop making
They
people
have.
famous.
Thank you.
They have.
Thank
They
you.
didn't even mention the shooter in Odessa.
That's
They
good.
Yeah.
have not released
Stop
his
doing
name
that.
yet. Yeah, and the other gentleman, they mentioned a little bit, but they're starting new laws and prevention because he was known for posting on Facebook.
Well, I think that's part of the problem. I think a lot of these people. I know we talk about mental illness. There may be some of that involved. I'm not totally convinced with
no,
that.
that's a huge part of it
I-
because
well,
look at anyone in this room.
I know, but let
Okay.
me finish.
No,
I-
the four people. No, you don't need to finish because this is important. A lot of people want to. A lot of people want to push
Who's
aside.
the daddy in this family?
I don't know.
Let him finish his thought.
Okay, go ahead.
A lot of people want to push aside mental illness as in it's an excuse for them to be allowed to do it, but that's not the case. They're not using it to say, like in court when someone pleads, what is it,
Insanity.
insanity,
Yeah.
right? That's a whole different case scenario. A lot of people do just do that to get away with it. School shooters again almost end up always dead. Anyone in their right mind, look at anyone on this planet that you think is mentally stable. Okay, Psycho is going to be out of the conversation. Hence his name.
That's his name, right?
but-
So he fits that.
But anyone in this room,
You're
okay,
here to
us
kill me,
four-
aren't you? That's
I
what
am.
Reiner
But have
said.
you
That's
ever
what
wanted to
Reiner
shoot
said.
up the school for them bullying
Us
you,
four,
Dave?
who
I would never have done that.
in their right mind would kill normally a large number of people
Innocent
and then
people.
themselves in their right mind? Not a single person would do that. That doesn't mean that they're
But hold on, stop it, because I watch a lot of ID channel, see people planning and committing these murders that I would never, ever, ever do.
because they're mentally ill.
No, they're not. They're making rational decisions
You
to-
can make rational
to
decisions
kill
when you're
their-
mentally ill.
to kill their spouse, to get money, to better their life. Supposedly, I'm going to kill my spouse. I'm going to plan that so I can be with my new boyfriend and take the.
That's just
the
greed. That's
and
not mental
and that is
illness.
not mental insane.
Okay,
That's
a lot
that
of
people make
A lot
in
of
order
large,
to commit these crimes. And I'm saying that some of these people that are doing these mass shootings are not necessarily mentally insane either. That's
Do you
decisions
know
they make.
what is mental illness? Do you know?
Oh God, the definition is
Well,
so
the
long.
mental illness is a person that's what we consider probably not normal, but that's even a hard question too. to
Okay,
answer.
so mental illness has a fluid description, which means that no one exactly has pinpointed what it means. It means someone is normally just not mentally stable or is not in the right state of mind.
Women do
Mentally
that
healthy.
with menopause.
That's so it's a very wide statement.
So you better stay away from us women when you piss us off.
Not most, sorry,
Can I change places with you, Psycho?
a large
There's a reason
number,
I'm single.
a
That's
large
good.
number of
Good
women,
decision.
not women, a
Yes.
large number of people who own large businesses are psychopaths. They're mentally ill.
They're not mentally ill. They just have a different brain.
Okay.
than you and
Psychopaths, that's
I.
mentally ill. That
Okay.
is
So,
by
all right,
definition
all right.
mentally ill.
Okay, let
Psychopaths, sociopaths,
well, let's get
schizophrenic people, they're all
okay.
technically the same under the term mental illness. That's why I hate the term. I personally
Okay, well then thank you for at least hating that term, because the number one thing is that when I grew up, I went to school with shotguns on the back of our pickup truck hanging in the window.
Because you just got done hunting that
Yes, that's
morning.
right.
Yeah.
And like today is dull season, and it might have fallen on a Tuesday, and people young they go hunting and then go to school. Never ever had these problems. We never had them, and so there were people that were mentally ill back then. So
That is
this we've moved in some sort of category of so-called mental illness, which could be part of, I think
I think it's the way they're raised.
there's a lot.
Without
What we're
love.
getting, there's a lot of things
I don't
there.
think their parents support them like they need.
I think
they're not
that's the
shown the
number
love.
one thing.
Well,
Well,
Didn't
also,
that happen before? Weren't a lot of people abused and not treated
Okay.
right before? Or
Well,
is that a new thing?
well,
Because I
think
believe since
first
the
of all,
1200s, people have been mistreated. as a
most of the
child.
time, though, back in my era, that families stayed together whether they even wanted to it or not.
I agree.
And so there was a sense of stability there, even though the husband and wife maybe hated each other, they did it for the kids. And we used to say, well, that's not a good decision because you're not happy. But I think we're finding out it was a great decision, because now we go, what the heck? I don't like you anymore. I don't care about
Divorce
the
is real easy
kids.
these days.
And I'm going to
You're taking
divorce
God-
you.
Separation.
God out of schools. People don't know.
Well, we've taken God out of
accountability.
families,
We've taken accountability away.
Okay,
from
what
kids.
about cultures that?
and we've taken discipline out.
What about cultures that
Oh, yeah.
don't
I
practice?
used to get pops in school. They don't do that anymore.
Nothing.
Yeah.
What about cultures that don't practice God, our God that we believe in? Okay, don't practice our God. Okay, and also don't have strong family values.
But most of those people, they do have strong family values. And number two is maybe they're not a Christian, but some of their religious beliefs are very, very, very strong moral beliefs. A lot of them are.
So what about atheists? What about, are they?
Okay, well, you're getting kind of a little off track with that. I mean, I know that there's all kinds of things out there in this world that people wrap their heads around and believe and go with, but I'm talking about what we're dealing with right now.
Because what I think the
because
issue is,
these people that are committing these heinous crimes where they go in and shoot up multiple people in a Walmart or a school or a church or whatever, there's got to be some lying connection to those types.
Somebody was saying on Facebook, what about all the medications we're on
I
now?
think that's a big thing.
I was gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So
you know, when
you got to keep in mind that when you're listing 3 reasons or 5 reasons or 10 reasons, you're not making an extensive enough list. I think there are hundreds, if not thousands, of reasons for school shootings
The
to be
world is different
accumulating.
today than it was then.
well,
and there's a lot more.
I think that you have
Well, and they're so easy going with giving these medications.
Yeah.
I mean, if a kid just doesn't pay attention in school, they'll
Pop.
them on
well,
drugs.
Psycho
They
Dave,
don't let them be a kid anymore.
you
Yeah.
have some testimony about that, don't you?
I do.
Look, can we hear that? Because it did affect you, didn't it?
It did. Whenever I was a kid, my mother and father got divorced at a young age. I was very attached to my dad, and being that I was only 7 years old, I didn't understand all that stuff. So I was also very shy in school. And whenever I didn't socialize like what the teachers or everybody else thought that I should, they decided to take me to a therapist, and they started putting me on pills.
Based on your
Yeah,
personality.
based on my personality. And
Because
some
you
of
were
those
breathing.
pills helped. Some of those pills made me a lot more antisocial and hate everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that that's what's happening to a lot of these guys.
Absolutely,
or
because I
these
know
people.
one of them, Ritalin, and I think they've changed it to they call it something else now,
Adderall.
but something like that. And that stuff is terrible. It made me physically sick. It made me just
Mentally
hate
wacky.
everybody.
We've seen it with some of
Yes.
our kids when they change their
Yeah,
doses.
it
they're
totally
zombified.
changes your
Yeah.
personality.
It's awful.
Because it changes your brain chemistry.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
crazy.
it
Absolutely.
really does just
It
change
does.
who you are.
Instead of talking to your kid and trying to help them get through it, we're just going to medicate because I
Well,
don't have
That's
time to
even
it.
even
That's
if
it
the-
right
even
there.
if you
They
talk,
don't do that anymore.
even
Yeah.
if you talk about it more than you would back whenever, giving them the medication is an issue normally. Because if you're talking to your kid and you're talking to your kid and then you give them medication, you're adding a whole nother factor that throws off how much you're talking to them. Now the
Right.
conversation you're having with them is not nearly as important as if they were off all these medications.
But it doesn't teach them to deal with reality either. It teaches them to medicate.
Well,
That's
when I grew up, we didn't have a term called ADHD. I mean, it was particularly that
It was just ADD back in the day.
Right.
Well, they're just
Yeah.
hyperactive kids. They're
Or-
boys.
or
Yes,
you need
they're
They're
to-
just
boys.
being a
Thank
boy.
you. I'm
Right,
so glad somebody
exactly.
sees that.
Yes.
That's
They're just
exactly what it
boys.
was. It was just hyperactive, and you need to learn how to control yourself and discipline that person to know how to handle themselves in a classroom instead of being running around like they were when they were at their mama's house. Now you're in a school setting. You need to learn how to operate that. Now we just throw them on medication so they can just sit there like a dummy
It's too
to
much of a
not
quick
be
fix.
in a place of disruption.
Would you like to hear something just amazing, just wonderful? That's sarcasm, by the way.
Here's something amazing.
6-year-olds, 5, 6, even slightly older, 7, 8, are being prescribed medication for ADHD, any sort of hyperactivity.
That's stupid.
5, 6.
Well, I thought it was stupid even at 6, 7, 8, or
But,
9 or
no,
10.
but-
So stupid.
But at 6, okay, your brain chemistry is so fragile, and you're just becoming, you're just becoming a child at that point. You're not going into adolescence yet. You are a child, okay, and putting something so detrimental into your system can not only ruin you in the moment, it could ruin.
It'll ruin you for life. That's
For
what that
life.
Ritalin was.
Absolutely.
I recently, one of my aunts that helped raise me, she knew that I was sick all the time when I was a kid, and she saw this thing on that show, The Doctors, that people under 25, kids under 25, that they'll never recover from. It screws up their body.
Because when
And Adderall is a form of crystal meth, and they put it in kids.
Yeah,
That's
it is. You actually
insane.
test positive for
Yes.
methamphetamines when
And
you
I
take
mean, that's
it.
just sick.
it's because your brain fully develops at around age 25.
Mm-hmm.
Once your brain is fully developed, medicating is a lot less dangerous. It is a lot less dangerous. Actually, it'd probably be positive to medicate yourself. It'd be a better decision. But at 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or even 15, it's a horrendous decision to medicate for something that is minor.
Well, and especially when you're doing that to basically control yourself, not them. You don't want to deal with maybe the extra effort to keep that child a little bit more balanced in the way. And discipline
Well,
is
don't have
out the
kids if you don't
window.
want to do that.
Discipline
True,
is out.
true.
The discipline's out in school. The disciplines are out in home. I mean, I go into a Walmart and I see a kid that's like, you know, in that little saddle there in the cart, 2, 3 years old, screaming bloody murder, screaming bloody murder all over Walmart, all over wanting a sucker.
See, that doesn't bother me.
And hang on. And so, you know, they're doing it, just disrupting everybody. And all of a sudden there's quietness. Then you go by that kid in that cart and he's got that sucker in his mouth. So what they learn is the more they scream and the more they yell, the more they get. And so what happens is that it's a combination of a lot of things. And I think the as Graham said, it's a lot of things. But
the internet is also a factor that
is
everyone has to
very.
bring up. You get tons of attention for doing things that normally would be shunned. I mean,
Yeah.
and that people
name
don't even know
shunning-
about. You can do things on the internet that nobody knows about. You can
hide
search
behind that
things.
computer too.
You can
Yeah.
hide behind that. Then people now they're not knowing how to associate with people because they've not built that type of ability.
Socializing's totally
So-
changed since we were kids.
Totally. You don't even have to communicate with anybody
Yes.
facially anymore. You can do it online and you can do it texting,
say we
emailing.
say we say something that makes someone moderately upset that has some sort of background with computers. We're using the internet, so we have to communicate via our IP address. Okay, so if someone finds our IP address, finds that out, then they could literally shut off our entire internet by giving us a bunch of packet loss, and then our internet shuts down and they basically fry our router and our show is off. You can silence people on the internet. It's very easy. See, the thing is the internet is giving us a way to spread not good but negative information.
I think that's probably what most of it, internet does more harm than good.
Because you get more attention.
Absolutely.
If someone gets shot up, that's going to get more attention than, you know, a more effective flu
Like-
cure,
like-
right? There's going to be.
Thank you for your service as a veteran. But you know, you go, great here. Like
You
that-
have to go to specific places on the internet to get wholesome and good information. You have to
True.
go to specific. You have to look for it to find bad information.
It pops
That's
up.
easy.
It's
Yeah.
left or the right of your screen. If you're
and it
using-
does affect you mentally, and it does thwart your mind, and with drugs and non-discipline and broken families. So there's a lot of things out there, and I want to close with this.
Okay.
That it's not the weapon, it's the person, and whatever those
Yes.
things are. And I'm sorry that if they might have gone through those kind of things and broken homes and all those about drugs or whatever, and it's to that place, that's a sad state of affair. But what they choose to do does not have anything to do with what they use to cause the destruction, because that is not. They're going to find something else to do it with than what they may use to do
See,
it.
if
Well,
With.
you-
the saying is the gun can't kill without a person, but a person can kill without a gun.
That's true. If you put a gun in the middle of a school hallway, okay, and everyone ignores it, is that gun going to end up killing multiple people?
Nope.
No.
And Art, I want to thank you for your comment. You're right. Entitlement is what these kids are getting when they
Yes.
get that sucker
Yeah,
in Walmart.
it's true. It's just they're entitled to whatever they want.
And it doesn't change because now you've conditioned that 2-year-old that that's what they want and want more. So
And Wesley's saying as well, I would have got my butt slapped, not a sucker back then.
exactly.
Yeah.
And discipline does work. I know a lot of folk you may not believe that, but it worked in my life.
It worked in mine.
And
my mama gave
It
me that
worked in
look.
mine.
And
Yep.
actually
My mother put the fear of God in me whenever I would do something.
And the fear of my father.
and
Me
it
too.
also I also see it work
I
in
understand.
animals.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a puppy dogs, and you know, they learn from aspects of discipline type. And I know there's praise involved there. We should have praise, but there's also discipline. There's a balance.
It's just like anything else. If you do it in moderation, if
It's a
you
balance.
praise them, it's. I mean,
Praise
look at
and
Chinese
discipline.
culture, yin and yang. All right, it has
Right.
to be a balance, a perfect co-prosperity, right?
Mhm.
So if you're praised just as much as you're punished, you're going to end up being a lot better than if you're just praised or if you're just punished.
And teach people to respect each other.
So that's a great way to close right there. Thank you, Purple Haze, for that. I think that's one of the things that's missing is really do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Respect human life. Respect the fact that God is each and every one of us is special. And if you don't believe that, DNA will prove you wrong.
Truth.
And so we're special people in our own way. And so let's treat people special like we want to be treated. And let's try and stop blaming one thing that is like a weapon or a gun or a bomb or whatever, because
Point the finger in the right direction.
Let's start pointing in the areas that where we want to try to hide.
Well, if someone hits someone over the head with a hammer and kills them with a hammer, no one goes, we should ban hammers. No one says we should ban screwdrivers
They
if
need to
someone
ban
gets
those
shanked in the
hamburgers
back.
from making me fat.
No one
That's a
agree
good
with that.
point.
It's weird to me that it's only guns. I would be so much more.
There was a stabbing in Paris. He used
Yeah,
a gun. He used a knife and he just killed one person.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
I
ban
would-
knives.
Well, that
I would-
happened
I
out
would
in
be so
California
much-
last couple 3 weeks ago. It stabbed seven or eight people.
I would understand so much more if all these people were that claim that we should get rid of guns, just ban them outright. I would have so much more respect for them if they just said, let's ban anything that could be a deadly weapon, because at least they're using the smallest bit of logic.
Yeah, that's true. That's
in
a
their
good point.
testimony. I mean, other than that, they're just saying, let's deal with.
But you know what? Even that wouldn't work because people have a way to kill with
Yeah,
their hands.
Yeah, dealing
Or
with
their
guns,
feet,
getting
or
rid of guns
whatever.
is not dealing with the problem.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to do
It's
anything.
the human
It's
heart
masking.
that it's in a person's psyche or in their mind, in their makeup, that however it got there, that actually does the damage. And so with that in mind, let's pray for our country and pray for these people that are in these states of mind, that something will help change them and go in a different direction. I mean, we can always just we've got to do something, and let's do the right thing. Let's make the right decisions with that, and not, let's taking guns out of good people's hands is not going to stop that problem. Let's make sure that we start focusing in on better
Let's
decisions
go
for these
positive.
children.
Let's thank a veteran. Let's love a veteran. Let's hug a veteran.
Yes.
Do something positive every day and something good every day, and hopefully someone will pay.
Thank you for
forward.
joining our show today. Thank you, Purple Haze. Thank you, Graham Knox Mirabo Carver. Thank you, Psycho
Thank you,
Dave.
Graham.
You'll be joining us
Thank Facebook
Thursday
listeners.
night with our anti-bully program. We'll keep you posted
Thank
on
you, Bo.
that. Friday with Grego Williams and myself with the Spam
The hammer.
Saloon. And I love
The
that.
Husky Hugger, is that what you
The
call
husky hugger, yes.
And
I like
yes, Motorcycle Grego, whatever, all those
Whatever you
different
want to
names.
call him.
And we're looking forward to that. We love you. Have a great Sunday, a great Labor Day weekend. And I and Purple Haze and Psycho Dave will see you Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you. Love you.
Bye, y'all. Thank you, Graham, for
Bye.
your stuff.
Miss you.
Are we off?
All right.
Are we sure? Are you sure?
Well, they found